There's no one here. Bloody prankers. What is this? Oh my god. Could it be? One of the most unique platformers on the PlayStation 1 system finally getting a remake? That is just awesome. Spyro has had its ups and downs. The original trilogy was great, and the Legend of Spyro series, well, we never talk about them, and enter the Dragonfly. When I really think about it, that game was a disappointment. Just like these other disappointing games you're about to see. Damn, I'm good at transitions. Hot chocolates for everyone. Let's get this Christmas special started, even though we're only a few weeks left till Christmas, but who gives a flying fuck? A while back, I asked what type of top 10 video you lads wanted to see. And in the end, top 10 disappointing games won the battle. And we had 12 people voting throughout the process. Many people can look at this and they'll think that 12 people is an extremely low number, but to me, this means a lot. And whenever your selection won or not, what matters is that you participated and had a go. So thanks to the people that voted, and for those who didn't, you don't need to worry as there's always next year. This list will consist of games that I felt was disappointing to me. It doesn't matter if the game is good or not, because again, it all falls back to personal opinions. One game per franchise, yada yada yada, you've all heard this before, and let's get our hopes shattered as we start off with number 10. You know what I like? The Simpsons. Well, the old episodes at least. Smart writing and memorable storylines made The Simpsons into a worldwide phenomenon. But you know what else I like? Skateboarding games. Awesome tricks to perform and the customization was endless. So when you put the two together, you get a big pile of shit that is The Simpsons Skateboarding. The models are not that good to look at and the locations are bland. A game that had a great idea on paper, but the execution overall was very poor, and one had to question why this game was even released in the first place. I love the Arkham games. Both Asylum and City were great, and while Origins didn't hold up, I do kinda see it as an underrated video game. Which brings us to Batman Arkham Knight, the so-called finale to the Arkham series, and it was a disappointment. The gameplay formula was already perfect, until the Batmobile shows up and you drive in it for 70% of the entire game. The story wasn't as great when it was built up before release, and the reveal for the Arkham Knight himself was just underwhelming and predictable. I just feel that the game was not the true ending to the series, and it definitely could have been a lot more better. Moving on from one superhero game to another is everyone's favourite Marvel character who loves to break the fourth wall, Deadpool. as much as I love Deadpool and consider him as one of my favorite superheroes, I am not a fan of the video game. Don't get me wrong, I do like the gameplay, but High Moon Studios' version of the character is wrong. He constantly makes lame jokes about being hip and cool, and while some of them are hilarious, but other times it feels like you want to grab your hand and apply it to your forehead. And if you watch the movies or read the comics about him, then you'll know that he'll not only say something funny, but there's also drama, sadness, tension, and character development. Something that this game failed to achieve. Moving on to number 7 is a Rockstar video game. Usually they make fantastic titles like Grand Theft Auto San Andreas and Red Dead Redemption, and all of their games are not a disappointment. All except for this one. Yep, I think this game, in my opinion, was disappointing. Mainly because I feel Rockstar went backwards here. Nico Bellic is the main character you play as, and he comes off as a really boring and generic character. While the recreation of Liberty City is fine, but the design kinda looks bland to me. And the story is forgettable. I literally cannot remember anything about the story, and that's coming from someone who's played the game over and over again. And also, you can't fly airplanes and jets. What the fuck, mate? They nailed everything perfectly in San Andreas, so with the next game being released in next-gen hardware, you would think that they'll push their creativity to the next level. But unfortunately, that is not the case. And also, if Roman rings me about Let's Go Bowling one more fucking time, I'm gonna grab his phone and stick it straight up his fucking— Spider-Man games are so awesome. Spider-Man 2000, Spider-Man 2, and even the newest one in Marvel Spider-Man are all great games and worth trying out. It feels like nothing could ever stop Spider-Man's momentum in the video gaming industry. Well, until this showed up. Spider-Man 3 is the third Spider-Man game in the Tobey Maguire series, yes, I'm calling it that, and just by playing the game in the first 15 minutes, this game is super lagging, and I can't blame the online because there's no online here for fuck's sake. They were going up and up as the years progressed, so why are we going down? The story sucks, the swinging is way off, and seeing the series losing its edge is a disappointment. But if there is one good thing about that game, well, it has to be this.
Please, someone! I'm going to die!
I honestly could watch that all day. Hey, don't look at me like that, Flowey the Flower. That does not mean I'm turning genocide. Well, not yet, anyway. Ratchet & Clank is a video game series that holds dearly into my heart. Awesome weapons to use, and the level designs are great. One day, I went to my local video game store and saw Ratchet & Clank Qforce, or Full Frontal Assault for those living in America. My first reaction was a shocking surprise. how come I never heard of this game before? So I bought the game, and 5 minutes into it, I knew exactly why. What the fuck is this? This isn't Ratchet and Clank, this is Balloon fucking Tower Defense, but with Ratchet and Clank skins. What kind of drugs was Insomniac taking during development? I don't even know. But even a monkey would realize that this was just a terrible idea. Man, it feels like every game I mention, it's gonna be even more disappointing than the last. And I have a feeling this trend is continuing. You know, I got into the Battlefield series from a friend by playing Battlefield 3 and 4, and it was really fun if I'm being honest. So when I heard about a new Battlefield game was going to be more focused on cops and robbers, I was actually looking forward to it and it got my hopes up. But then, the hopes and excitements came crashing down like a tornado destroying a house. The story is so fucking forgettable, and they try to treat the story like a season of The Walking Dead with previously and next time on Battlefield Hardline, and it doesn't work for a video game. The graphics are more of the same as Battlefield 4, so not much improvement there, and there's no tanks in multiplayer. Are you fucking kidding me? Having no tanks in Battlefield is like having no gems in Spyro the Dragon. Battlefield Hardline is a game that should have never existed in the first place, and seeing all the elements take place here, I was so disappointed from their decisions. I was going to put Fallout 3 in this list, but as I was thinking about Fallout 3, I just remembered another Fallout game that was much more disappointing than Fallout 3, and that was the sequel in Fallout 4. While visually the game does look good, but the engine and the design are the same as their previous game, Skyrim. I see the story as lazy and unmemorable, the characters have no charisma and they're not that interesting to talk to, and the choices. If you thought that the moral decision making was bad in Fallout 3, then check out Fallout 4's. There's no branch lines or different resolutions to each quest, as it's just the one ending, and for a Fallout game, when you make tough decisions and determine the future of the wasteland, that fucking sucks. And yes, I know that Fallout 76 is a much more disappointing game than Fallout 4, but I haven't played that game yet, so shut up. I remember seeing the gameplay demo from E3, and man, I was so keen to play this game. I told my friends how thrilled I was to finally play Watch Dogs, and when I did, oh well, let's just say that I learned my lesson on not to get hyped for a game when it's released. For some reason, they decided to turn the graphics down, and comparing it to what was presented at E3, it is a shame. The ability to hack was an underwhelming gameplay feature for me, as there's a short limit to the things you can hack on your phone. And plus, the open world design is generic, and the main character Aiden keeps saying every now and then on how he's a vigilante and he doesn't kill anyone, but yet in later missions, you are forced to kill people, but Aiden just pretends that it never happened. Also, Aiden is just a parody of Batman, but much worse. This game was just an awful mess at the end of the day, and I could not believe that I was interested in playing this game. And since that very day, I tried to stay away from as much hype as I possibly can. Hell, I even tried to stay away from the spoiler videos for the Reignited trilogy so I don't get hyped. Well, before I talk more about Spyro and its rebirth, we have one more video game to talk about in terms of major disappointment. But before we check that out, here is a few dishonorable mentions. In the fuck is this even possible? To fuck up a wrestling game that had great ideas but sucked in the end. 2K Sports was taking over the WWE wrestling games after THQ sold the franchise over. 2K14 was more of the same than THQ's last game, WWE 13. So when I heard about a new wrestling game coming to next-gen hardware, I was unfortunately hyped. And trust me, we all know what hype does to us. We refuse to accept any criticism whatsoever, only to look like fools in the end and get the most complaints. Yes, the graphics are good, but that doesn't mean shit to me. I'm all about the gameplay and the features, and they all suck. Less match types, my career sucks, more simulated rather than arcade, but the most disappointing part about all of this is not being able to create women. Even though I'm not named as the gaming critic anymore, but I do not have any regrets when I put this game on the list of critic. After playing this game, I was so close to give up wrestling games for good. But thankfully, it seems that wrestling games are slowly getting better as each year progresses, but I would like to forget that this game never existed, because WWE 2K15 is, was, has, and always will be my most disappointing video game I ever played in my life. And that was my top 10 most disappointing video games. Let me know down in the comment section below what's your most disappointing game you've played throughout the years, and again, thanks to the people that voted. Now, if you excuse me, I think I smell a barbecue. But until then, thank you for watching this top 10 video, and if you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like, share the video, and subscribe today. My name's Cheese and Crackers, telling you to keep calm and keep playing video games. Oh wow, that has been a while since I said that.